Welcome to the Heal Yourself podcast, where we dive deep into all things healing. I'm Denise, a speech language pathologist and a self-love coach for adults and teens.
And I'm Kira, a traditional naturopath and functional nutritionist, and we are here to guide you through the transformative process of healing your body, mind, and soul.
From the latest in functional medicine to nurturing your relationship with yourself, healing trauma, and even transforming your money story, we're here to empower you with the knowledge and tools to create lasting change.
So whether you're looking to heal physically, emotionally, or spiritually, join us as we explore the many paths to wholeness and wellness. Welcome to the Heal Yourself podcast. This is episode 1. I'm Kira. I'm a functional medicine trained nutritionist, a traditional naturopath, and a hypnotist. Before that, I was a middle school English and art teacher, and I dealt with a lot of my own health issues. And I know Denise and I are going to chat about that a bit in this episode. But I was someone that went from doctor to doctor, conventional, holistic. I just knew that there had to be a better way, but I wasn't being told that. No one was guiding me on this healing journey. It was a lot of take this pill, take this supplement, run this test. I don't know what to tell you. It might be in your head. And so that's part of what sparked my journey. But Denise, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, ma'am. So I'm Denise, and I'm so excited to be doing this with you. I am a speech language pathologist, and that did not change. However, I'm also a self-love coach for adults and teens. And in the past 2 to 3 years, I suffered a lot with my relationship, especially my relationship with my spouse, my relationship with myself, with my children. And I immersed myself with everything mindset, everything self-love. And I saw the transformation of those relationships around me. My relationship with my husband changed, my relationship with myself, with my kids, with other people. So I started having workshops in the community, self-love workshops for adults and teens. And that's how I started being a self-love coach. And I've also had like my health issues, and we're going to discuss them a bit later to talk about how I met you. But yeah, that's how I just got to being a self-love coach. And I love working with teens because it's my background as a speech pathologist working with children.
Well, and I just have to say also, because Denise didn't say it, you're also trained in functional medicine. Like you were a health coach. You just kind of let that go aside. So
I did because you know what? I started doing it for my own health. And then I met you, and the journey, it's so funny how the journey just takes you. And I just fell in love with everything self-love, everything mindset, everything subconscious reprogramming. And I just wanted to pay that forward to people around me. So I do have the knowledge of health coaching, and I'm so blessed that I did that because I met you and all the wonderful people that are in my life.
yeah, I love it. Both of us have had such a crazy journey. And I mean, that ties into this podcast has been a long time coming. Denise asked me years ago, and I was like, nope, not interested. I think it happened in divine timing, right? Like years ago, I don't think we were ready. We had so much healing to do. Like we hadn't dug into the self-love, the mindset, like the spiritual healing, the money healing that you would tune me into. Like there were so many things that we had to explore to get to this point. And do I think that we're fully healed? Absolutely not. You're going to hear us say that all the time. Like healing is a lifelong journey, but we were not ready until now, I think. So yeah, we had a lot of healing to do over the years.
Yes, and you're right. Everything does happen in divine timing, and I'm all here for it.
Yeah.
So our podcast mission, this is a space for exploring various healing modalities, learning and growing. There's a lot of noise out there in the health world, a lot. And even just looking at nutrition, I mean, sometimes it gets really overwhelming, right? Sometimes we're going to be alone. Like let's say you're out of town, I'm out of town. So it's going to be like, sometimes it's going to be a solo episode. Sometimes we're going to be together. Sometimes we're going to bring in guest experts, and you're going to expect a blend of scientific insights, personal stories. Those are the best. practical advice that will be part of each episode. And we're both are huge, huge fans of baby steps, tangible tools that you can literally use after you hear every single episode.
Yeah. So even though we're blending a lot of science into this, we've known each other a long time. We want this to be fun. We don't want a boring podcast. We want to simplify health for everyone because, like Denise said, there's a lot of noise out there. And when we say even just looking at nutrition, like clients come to me all the time and they're like, do I eat vegetables? Or oxalates bad? Should I do carnivore? Like there's so much noise. Let us help break it down for you. So let's talk about what healing even means because it's different to every person. Do you want to share first? Like, tell us what healing just means to you.
Oh my goodness. Healing. Okay. So healing to me means taking accountability for all the decisions that I have made so far, right? Because everything that I am in every single area at this moment in time is based on all of my decisions that I've made in the past, based on all of my thoughts, hence my decisions. So for me to heal, and especially healing relationships, I had to come to terms with I do take accountability. It's on me. Okay? I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not blaming anybody. This is all me. And it also means going within. And I know this is really icky sometimes to go within and grab the ickiness out, but really going within and making new decisions that are based and align with the best version of myself, with the version that I'm becoming. So taking accountability for my previous choices and making new ones aligned with who I am or who I want.
I love
How
that.
about you? How about you, Missy?
Well, first, I have to chime in on yours because that accountability piece is beautiful. And I think so many times people come to us because they want to be fixed. And I'm like, we don't fix you, you fix you, right? Like, you have to be accountable. So I'm just throwing that one out there. Like, if you're seeking the health of some type of practitioner, a self-love coach, whatever, the healing comes from you. So just throwing that one out there. Okay. So,
Oh, let me just add a side note.
yeah.
If we have the magic wand, I promise you, we will pass it out. We will pass it out.
Still looking for that one. So healing to me, it's a mind, body, spirit thing, right? So from a physical standpoint, it means living a life free of chronic symptoms. And I'm not talking about I'll never get a headache again. I'll never have joint pain. We are going to experience some symptoms, but I'm talking about chronic symptoms. It's living a life free of those. It's also understanding that some physical symptoms, and some might disagree with me, and that's okay, that some of those symptoms are sent to us as learning opportunities. What do I need to learn about myself? And then it also means letting go of things that no longer serve us. So, you know, relationships that don't serve us, beliefs that don't serve us. Like there's so many things that go into healing. And I love what you said. So maybe I can just steal that, but that's my definition.
Yeah, and I want to actually, I'm going to jump in on what you said about taking those physical symptoms as a learning opportunity. It's not just the physical symptoms sometimes, and I talked about it today in my Instagram story, resistance. Whenever I get resistance of something I really want to do, this is my sign of actually doing it. So like if I want to go to yoga at 9 and then my mind's like, oh no, you have this resistance is a perfect sign for me to actually doing it. So
Love that.
our body's always talking to us, our thoughts and our minds, if we truly listen, are always talking to us as well too.
100%. Yeah.
Yep.
So let's talk about our stories because we both have unique stories. I mean, most people don't get into the health space unless they have a story, right? We don't just have an amazing life free of symptoms and we love ourselves and, and then we get into this. So let's start with yours, whether you want to talk about physical, emotional, spiritual, like have at it.
Yeah. Yeah, I will talk about my physical symptoms. I was a major junk eater for years. I mean, we're talking McDonald's, Taco Bell, snacks, licorice was my favorite, candy. I mean, in college, I remember that my lunch was from the vending machine. it was, if it's not McDonald's, from the vending machine. So, and then you know what, like your 20s, early 30s, everything's fine and dandy. And then you hit 33. And then I started with so it was after my daughter was born, my second child, and lots of migraine, sinuses. But meanwhile, before, and I did not take those as symptoms. Constipation, I had major constipation. I wouldn't, I mean, sometimes I'll go a week and a half without
Oh yeah,
going.
girl. So, yeah, same.
Yeah, it was bad. So, but then just like you said with, earlier with your chronic issues, I went to all the doctors. We did all of the x-rays, whatever they do, the CT scans, the things. They would give me the medication, but then they would give me the migraine medication, and I had a baby, and I would just like fall asleep. I can't take care of my baby. So I just started researching. One thing led to another, and I was like, wait a minute, food, dairy, this, junk, sugar, etc. So I started doing it myself, following people. And then I trained in health coaching first. I trained in functional medicine training, and I just literally reversed a lot of definitely. I mean, I'm regular right now. I don't have acne. I was on Accutane twice, and I feel better, have more energy. I am 45, and I do have good skin. I don't have acne. In general, like you said, we are going to have the headaches, the joint pains, etc., here and there. But yeah, so that's how I got into the space, and then into self-love. Like I said, in 2018 to 2020, I started immersing myself a lot, but from 2020 to 23, I immersed a lot in mindset, and I've read pretty much a lot of books. And self-love, I just went back to the basics, right? So with health coaching, when I used to coach clients, I would be like, let's start with the basics. Right now, same thing with mindset and healing my relationship with myself first. I really was kind of like angry, carrying a lot of anger, a lot of resentment, and I was just putting it on others, putting on my husband, on the kids, on my mom, on that, you know? And so I just, I went back to the basics of self-love, Louise Hay. And oh my goodness, just my life transformed, especially in the house, especially my relationship with my husband. It literally was kind of like a 180, and it was amazing. Because, after so many years of being married, you kind of get on each other's nerves. And
No, never.
so, yeah. And that's, self-love. I just learned to put myself first, and it's not selfish. And we're going to talk about it in, new episodes. But yeah, I think this is how and that's my story, I think. I mean, I don't have a dramatic story, but
And that's
how about
okay.
you? How
Yeah,
about you?
we don't need insane stories, right? We just need continued growth and transformation is how I
Yeah.
view it. So for me, it stemmed from chronic digestive issues. Like it really was the physical that kind of started me down this path. And like I mentioned in the very beginning, I was being passed around, and we're talking chronic digestive issues from a very early age that just progressed. It was constipation, it was stomach pain, it was bloating, and at times it was, a joke with like my girlfriends of, look, I look 8 months pregnant, but not realizing that that was like a sign from my body that things weren't okay. But no one could give me any answers. It was just, hey, you have IBS. That's kind of it. Avoid certain foods, which honestly, those weren't ever problematic foods for me, but no one took the time to educate me on nutrition. And I mean, I wasn't maybe as bad of an eater as you were, but I was not a great eater. Like no one teaches you that in school, right? Maybe they do now, but no one taught what good nutrition looked like. And so even though I viewed my parents as pretty healthy eaters, I ate a lot of junk, especially when I got out on my own. I joined the military. I was eating their food, and it was just terrible. So it took me years of navigating these ongoing digestive and hormonal symptoms until I finally learned about functional medicine, right? And was able to reverse those dynamics. But my journey doesn't stop there. Like Denise, I don't think you realize you're the one that tipped it off for me. She,
Aw.
you were, because in the beginning, when we started working together, and I don't even, was that like 5 years ago, 6 years ago now? I don't even know.
I
But we
think it was
started,
2018
oh
or
my,
17. Yeah. When you guys moved to Vegas that year, what
wow.
year was it?
I don't know.
Yeah. No, you
Eating out
posted
of,
on Facebook. I have to go back. But yeah, I
yeah.
think they're 16 or 17.
Yeah. It was a long time ago, but I we were talking through some business stuff and she's like, "Girl, you have money stories." And I'm like, "What's a money story?" Like, and so as funny as it seems, it like sparked some different types of healing because I didn't realize there were a lot of issues with self-worth. And then that led me to see like, "Oh my gosh, I have massive issues with boundaries." And then it got me looking at the energetics of physical symptoms of like, oh, a lack of boundaries in your life can lead to a lack of boundaries in your gut, leaky gut. And then I started looking at why am I a perfectionist? Like, why am I always trying to make things better? Why can't I just be like, it's good enough? So my journey started physical, but it has definitely moved into the spiritual and all the other stuff that comes with it.
Wow. I know. I just love it. I just love seeing us, how we started and where we are now. And I'm looking forward to seeing where we go with our journeys.
Same.
So I
Yeah.
know.
Well, so then I'm going to say our goal for every episode is for you to have either some aha moments of like, oh my gosh, I'm doing that too. Or, like we said in the beginning, some tangible tips to walk away with, right? We don't want you to just listen to us banter back and forth, even though we think we're funny, maybe we're not.
Well,
So,
we totally think we're funny because we love ourselves.
well, and since this is our first episode, we wanted to give you just some basic things to walk away with. So, again, you're looking for like an aha or something of like, okay. So, Denise, putting you on the spot, I want three biggest takeaways from your own healing journey.
All right, here we go. First one, healing is a journey.
Yeah.
You're gonna have bumps in the road. It's a road when you're driving, when you're in the airplane, there are bumps everywhere in the sky on the road. So your healing journey is gonna be bumpy. You want to accept the bumps on the road and they're part of your journey. That's number one. That's a big one for me. Number two is we're all coming from different places, right? And I don't know if you remember, but we hosted Mindset Coach one time, and she gave us this example of, let's say you and I, Kira, are going to New York, right? But you're going from Texas, and I'm coming from California. We're going to get to New York, sure. However, it's going to take a different route, longer time, less time, etc. So instead of comparing myself with others, I learned to compare myself with my previous version, right? So because we all are different, we have different experiences. And number three, accepting myself as I am and then change. So changing, coming from a place of positivity and acceptance, which leads to positive change versus wanting to change coming from a place of criticism and judgment. Like, oh, I don't like this, I'm going to change it. No, I accept myself as I am. I love myself as I am. And I'm going to change this aspect moving forward. How
Love
about
that.
you? How about
Yeah.
you?
Um, so many things, but narrowing it down to three. Honestly, one is a newer realization, and it's connecting with nature. As funny as it sounds, like we are not meant to inhabitat these houses and be behind these blue lights and breathing in this air. And so for me, one of the biggest things I have done, even just in the last year, has been getting back to nature. So every morning I go outside, even if it's just for 2 minutes. And when the days are nice, I'm taking a 30-minute walk every single day and I'm getting outside. I took my lunch out there for a few minutes today. So that connection with nature has been big because we are part of nature, right? We're all connected. So
Yep.
that was huge. Second lesson I think that was really big for me was learning to trust my body. And I'm saying that one because I want to share it with those that maybe are not in that place. And it is a key component to healing, especially if you have physical symptoms. Because if you're constantly looking in the mirror and picking yourself apart, or throughout the day, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to get better. This is miserable. You can't get there. Like, if we want to look at the quantum physics world, right? Quantum physics world, I can't say that. It's like a tongue twister. We have to trust our body. I'm not saying that you should just ignore the symptoms that are there. Please don't do that. But you have to trust that your body is speaking to you And it's asking you to do things. And a lot of times it's easy to just ignore those and be like, my body's just broken. That's not how it works. You're never going to get the results that you're after if you can't build a solid relationship with yourself and trust it, trust your body. And then, girl, the third one's the same as yours. Like healing is not a destination, but I think we have to keep repeating that. It is a journey. And so, clients that come to me are dealing with chronic health issues, right? That's the primary reason they seek me out. They've tried so much. And I have to remind them, like, yes, we can eliminate these chronic symptoms, but like your journey is not done. It doesn't mean that you need to keep working with a practitioner, but like dig into the self-worth, dig into the perfectionism, dig into all of these other things. Just because you eliminate some chronic symptoms now doesn't mean that your healing is done. You have to keep going at it.
Yes. I would like to add a side note because we are majorly having a conversation. We're not scripting or anything. My dog has major attachment issues, so she has to be behind me. So if you're hearing like a dog or something, she's not barking, but she's just moving and stretching. She's doing her yoga.
I don't hear her, but maybe the poor thing needs a little self-love in her life. Like,
Maybe. She thinks, yeah, I don't.
yeah. So before we end today's episode, is there anything else you want to share about healing just over the years working with clients? Like any other final thoughts from you?
Yes, final thoughts is small baby steps.
Mm.
Right? That's why New Year resolutions, when someone doesn't go to the gym, like let's say they don't go to the gym at all, and their New Year resolution is to go to the gym. So they stop going to the gym after 21 days.
Yeah.
So don't aim for big, huge goals, right? So always aim for small baby steps because those small changes are the ones that are going to lead to big change, right? We all want to do, like have I don't know, big goals. Have the big goals, however, have shorter goals to get there. So you
And
don't get, discouraged.
yeah, and overwhelmed. Like I think the research is behind that, right? Like you don't make 20 changes, you make one small thing. Like one small step or 1% better every single day is gonna create a compound effect.
Yeah. How about you, Kira?
I've got one final thought to share too. So health can be, I'm talking physical now, right? I'm always going to go back to the physical, but health can be super complex. Like people can come to me and they're like, I have histamine issues, mast cell, I've got mold, whatever it might be, but it doesn't have to be complicated. And I know that sounds kind of funny of like, wait, it's complex, but it's not complicated. So one of the things one of our mentors taught, Denise, you'll know this, was maximize, minimize, prioritize. And I love this because it's so easy to get overwhelmed in the health space of, okay, I've got all this going on. Like, what do I do first? So maximize. What are the things that you need to maximize in your day just today, right? Is that self-care? Do you need to maximize fresh air? Do you need to maximize water? Whatever, pick one thing to maximize. Minimize. So what's one thing that you need to minimize in your life? Maybe it's screen time. Maybe it is, I don't know, whatever, junk food. And then prioritize. Pick those 1 to 2 things that you need to be prioritizing right now, because we all know that there's 20 things that you can do on your healing journey, but you're going to get overwhelmed. So it goes back kind of what you said, 1%.
Yeah. And I would like to add that this journey can be beautiful if you allow it. So, and again, we have this one life. So let's just enjoy it and have fun on that journey, on the healing journey. Yes, we're going to, get through obstacles, but guess what? We have everything it takes to work through them. So keep listening and we're going to teach you all of those tools.
Yes. See you next
See you
time.
next time.